I came here in Stockholm since I couldn't cancel all my reservations. It's a bit awkward that I'm giving a presentation here in Stockholm online, but anyway, let's start. The title of my paper is Social Big Data Analysis to Explore Hallyu Fields. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the Hallyu. Anyone knows about Hallyu? Anyone? Okay. Hallyu is a Korean word, which means Korean wave. This word was originally created by Chinese media in 1990s when Korean pop music made a big hit in China. It is a kind of a metaphor that Korean music and culture comes to China like waves. Since then, Korean wave, which means Hallyu, has been expanding to Southeast Asia, Middle East, Europe, USA, South America, and Africa, and all over the world. However, there are not many researches conducted on this phenomenon of Hallyu. So my co-author and I researched on Hallyu utilizing social big data analysis. Okay. And this is a very popular music show in Spain. However, it is originated from the Korean music show. Now people in the world enjoy not only Korean music, but also shows, dramas like a Squid Game, and even learn Korean language. This figure shows the number of Hallyu fans. The number of Hallyu fans has been increasing as shown in the diagram. It was about 9 million fans in 2012. After 10 years, in 2022, it has been growing to 178 million fans. As Hallyu fans are numerous, related industries such as movie, drama, industries are also growing. And recently it has been influencing other fields like food, cosmetics, costumes, etc. However, new fields are not spotlighted yet. So this study aims to explore the new fields of Hallyu by identifying major keywords and topics latent in social big data, which is collected from internet news, cafes, and blog postings. Social big data from postings are very useful because people posted their opinions honestly, and you can figure out their interests and opinions. To analyze big data from social channels, Textone, which is a big data solution, was used. And the social big data was collected from the blogs and news and cafes of Naver.com. And Naver is a Korean-based search engine, which accounts for 63% of the nation's entire market. Google is the second largest search engine in Korea, but does not
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. We are able to see only half of your screen.
Sorry?
Can you enlarge your screen? We are able to see half of it. off of the screen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know how to enlarge it.
Can you reshare it? Can you stop share screening and reshare it? Yes. Yeah, now
I'm sorry that the letters are not that big, as big as you can see, but I can explain it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the neighbor is in the Korean, the best search engine, but yes, as I said, no, Google is the second largest, but it doesn't provide blogs and online cafe services. So, and Facebook, no, is good, but Facebook's policies do not allow for data collection. And we checked the Twitter, but the amount of data from Twitter was too small. So Naver was finally selected as the sole channel for data collection. The data was collected every year, so from 2018 to 2022. In order to identify the changes in perceptions and issues about Hallyu. The key phrases, the words for collecting, it was an Hallyu fan. And it collected in total about 81,000 words. To prepare this data for analysis, and meaningless syllables and morphemes were removed. And frequency analysis and n-gram analysis and TD-IDF analysis and topic modeling analysis were conducted. And this is the result of word frequency analysis. Again, the letters are so tiny, and it's hard to read, but I can explain. The most frequently appeared words in 2018 was Hallyu, Star, Fan, Korea, BTS, World, Drama, Concert, etc. And there is an interesting thing that in 2018 and 19, the festival was appeared in the frequency analysis. However, it disappeared after the outbreak of pandemic. So since pandemic, no one regarded Hallyu as festival. And also China and Japan, the world of China and Japan appeared all years, but America appeared since 2021. It implies the interest about Hallyu by Americans start beginning from 2021. And this is the word cloud, but I'm afraid it's in Korean. But anyway, the bigger letters, the more the frequency. So the biggest one on the left side is Korean wave. And this is the result of n-gram analysis, which shows the pair words. So that is, two words are found together in chunks of the content, searched by the key phrase Hallyu fan. The pair words with high frequencies were Hallyu Star, Hallyu fan, Hallyu festival, and Hallyu content, Hallyu drama, and so on. And this is the result of a topic modeling analysis for 2018. In this diagram, there are 3 circles, which means there are 3 topics with the keywords belonged to each topic. We named them topic 1, the red one, as BTS and Korean tourism, and topic 2 on the bottom as Hallyu Star and Thailand fandom, and topic 3 on the right as new Hallyu. And likewise, topic modeling analysis for 2019 and 2020, 2021, 2022. And this table is the summary of topic modeling analysis for 5 years. On the right, there are 9 categories: Hallyu in music, film, fandom, countries, fashion, sports, tourism, publications, economics, and stars. There are some implications of this study. Academically, this study is an early study that analyzed big data related to Hallyu fans. Practically, it can be helpful to related practitioners, including the Hallyu-related industries. The findings of topic modeling analysis suggest new fields such as Hallyu in sports. Therefore, industry officials can use this result for their future policies and marketings. Okay, thank you. That's all. If you have any questions, please.
So good afternoon to everyone. I'm Dr. S.M. Mathur, working as an emeritus scientist in the College of Technology and Engineering, MPOT, Udaipur, Rajasthan. My topic is more related with the engineering side of the agriculture. My topic is design and development of two-row planting machine for a mulch laying system. Sir, what happened because of the increasing load of the population, and most of the people are turning to the in the vegetarian side, there is a increased demand of vegetables in the market. And in order to increase to fulfill the demand of the vegetables, the productivity of the vegetable grown area is required to be increased. And in order to be increase the productivity of the growing of the vegetables, we have to mechanize the field of mechanization of the vegetables. These are some of the figures which shows that how the production of vegetables like brinjal, green chili, red chilies, and tomato are increasing day by day. These are the authentic data taken from the Horticulture Board of the India. Actually, there is a large research gap between the sowing of your vegetable crops. The traditional practices are that the seedlings are prepared in the nursery and then sown in the field. And it is a very, very labor consuming process in which first we have to sow the seeds into the and prepare nursery, and then individual seedlings are required to be sown into the field. And some of the vegetables such as tomato, chili, and some of the crops are such that they are required some special kind of treatment, such as they are required to be sown on the ridges, or you can say on the bunds, with laying of the plastic mulch in order to conserve the moisture and the wheat growth. So basically, we have developed a machine which is known as a two-row vegetable transplanting machine. This is the newly developed machine which we have developed here in our institute. And this machine can be coupled with a machine which is suitable for forming the bund. And this machine is attached with the tractor. And this machine, first of all, forms a bund of, you can say, 750 mm. And on that bund, first of all, this is the bund forming unit on which this drip pipes are laid. And on the drip pipes, mulch are laid. Mulch is nothing but it is a plastic film which conserve the moisture of the soil, as well as does not allow weed growth into the field. You can see this is the video showing this working of the machine. Here you can see two persons are here, and a punch is made into the field, and the plants are dropped into the field. Here, this is the heart of the machine. Here the persons are putting the plants into the machine individually. The first, we develop a nursery of 6 weeks old seedlings. Then this is the heart of the machine. Here you can say these are the portion in which the plants are going to be dropped. And here you can see a cone-like geometry. When it touches into the mulch, it penetrates into the mulch. And because of this cam action, this cone-like structure is operated. And when it opens, a person sitting over here will drop the seedling. The developed machine was tested particularly at 3 different levels of speed, that is 0.8 km per hour, 1.0 km per hour, and the 1.2 km per hour of speed. These machines were tested on which generally planting has to be done. And there was a provision to vary the plant spacing, and plant spacing was varied between 2 successive plants, 300 mm, 600 mm, and 1200 mm. The machine was tested for its field capacity, theoretical field capacity, effective field capacity, field efficiency, missing plant index, and the quality of feed index. Here you can see the different components of the machine. Here two persons are sit on this chair, and this is your planting unit. This is some more view of the planting unit. Here a cone-like structure which penetrates into the mulch, and with the help of these cam-type arrangements, this opens up and the plants are dropped here. And in order to facilitate, or in order to mechanize this machine completely, we are trying to remove these 2 persons which are going to be sit here, and we are providing a automatic robotic arm here, which will automatically put the plant into the this your seeding unit. This robotic arm is going to be developed very shortly. This is some another view of our machine. These are the 2 robotic arms which will hold the plant and drop into the box. These are the some of the specifications of our machine. The machine is required to be operated with a 40 horsepower of tractor. Presently, the machine is semi-automatic type. But if we provide robotic arms, it will be a fully automatic machine. It covers 2 rows. It is suitable for all kind of vegetables, but particularly we have tested it for tomato and chili. Metering mechanism is rotary cup type. Power transmission is a chain and sprocket of drives. Door openers is jaw type. These are the overall dimensions of the machine. This machine is ergonomically designed. That means the height of the sitting of a person, arm of a person, all these ergonomical factors are taken into the consideration while designing this machine. Before start of this development, some of the physical properties of the plant were measured, and it was found that the 6 weeks old seedlings are suitable to sow with these machines. And some of the performance of the machine was measured in terms of its theoretical field capacity, actual field capacity, field efficiency, seedling miss index, seedling multiple index, and we found that the performance of machine is highly satisfactory, and the machine gives the best results when it is operated at a speed of you can say 0.8 km per hour, and there is no drudgery to the persons working with the machines, and the effective field capacity of the machine was found to be 0.10 hectares per hour. These are the some of the results which shows that the theoretical field capacity of the machine was found maximum when it is operated at the maximum speed of 1.2 kilometer per hour, and there is no significant effect when the machine is operated for the different plant spacing. Only the performance of the machine is affected by the speed of operation of the machine, and the best results are obtained when the machine is operated with the minimum speed of 0.8 kilometer per hour. These are the some of the results which is obtained with this machine. This machine was tested with the sandy loam soil, and the average force required to operate the machine is 380 kilogram force is required to operate the machine, and 12 to 15% slip is observed when it is operated with the help of a tractor, and there is a average quality of feed index was found to be 89%, and there was very less missing of the seedlings, and it was found only 6%. So overall, the performance of this machine was found very satisfactory, and it gives very good results. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dia Guharoy. I am a assistant professor from the Institute of Goa Institute of Management, Goa, India. Today, I am going to present something on cybersecurity as a competitive advantage for the small and medium-sized enterprises. So before I go ahead with my presentation, I just wanted to, because we are in a multi-diverse, forum where everybody may not know what is the meaning of MSME or SME, I would give you a little idea about MSME. MSME is nothing but micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises who have often limited amount of resources to devote to cybersecurity, and they are becoming more targeted by the cyber criminals. A cybersecurity breach can have a devastating impact on SME's reputation and bottom line. However, many SMEs are also aware of the potential competitive advantage that effective cybersecurity can provide. Research in area involves strategies for marketing cybersecurity as a competitive advantage for SMEs. This includes developing messages that highlight the importance of cybersecurity in protecting customer data and ensuring business continuity, as well as developing marketing campaigns that showcase a company's cybersecurity measures as a point of differentiation from the competitors. Now, let me go ahead with the research flow. I have basically done a qualitative research at this point of time. It is based on secondary research. However, it is seen that importance of cybersecurity for SME, developing a cybersecurity marketing strategy, differentiating from competitors, and evaluating the effectiveness of cybersecurity marketing is a nice flow at this point of time. But in future, I plan to collect secondary data on which I would like to perform some analysis, which will give a better idea in the context of cybersecurity and marketing in the tourism sector or any other sector that is pretty vulnerable at this point of time. So coming back to SME, it is basically manufacturing enterprise and enterprise rendering services. Investment in when it comes to micro, the investment in plant and machinery or equipment is not more than 1 crore, and annual turnover is not more than 5 crore. For small, the investment in plant and machinery or equipment is not more than 10 crore, and annual turnover is not more than 50 crore. When it comes to medium, investment in plant machinery or equipment is not more than 50 crore, and annual turnover is not more than 250 crore. I have taken this particular slide directly from Indian Brand Equity Foundation to actually give you the priority statistics in our country, that is India. And in this context, I have seen that certain SMEs, like almost 70% of SMEs, individuals are now embracing digital technology in some capacity in their day-to-day operation. Secondly, I wanted to point that 80% of MSMEs agree that digital technology adoption has a beneficial influence on their enterprises and personal life. Another report says that the age group of 18 to 30 was the most technology savvy, with more than 75% using a smartphone to operate their daily operations and access digital content. The next one I wanted to focus on is 28% state that it has increased that, enhancing efficiency in business operation, and 28% has said it increased their sales and income. Not focusing on much onto these statistics, secondary statistics, I want to point out to some financial facts that MSME related products export share of all India exports stood at 49.4% and 49.8% for the financial year 2021 and 20 respectively. The number of MSMEs in India increased by a CAGR of 18% from 2019 to 2020. In FY21, the loan distributions to MSMEs stood at 9.5 trillion or US $128.06 billion, a 40% increase compared with rupees 6.8 trillion in financial year 20. In February 2023, the government of India announced in budget 2023 and 24 that untitled Skill India digital platform to be launched in order to enable the demand-based formal skilling, linking with employees, including MSMEs, and facilitating access to entrepreneurship schemes. Economic facts that I like to focus on are small and medium-sized enterprises are an important driver of economic growth and employment in many countries around the world. According to the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, SMEs account for over 95% of all businesses in most countries and are responsible for creating 2 out of every 3 new jobs. As a result, policymakers and researchers have paid increasing attention to the needs and challenges facing SMEs, including the unique cybersecurity risks they face. 10 facts, some of them are really grotesque in the context of security of the customers and security of the company. As I like to pinpoint that one of the main challenges for SMEs is their limited resources, including financial, technical, and human resources, which make it difficult to invest in cybersecurity. As a result, SMEs are often viewed as easy targets for cyber criminals who can exploit vulnerabilities in their IT system and steal sensitive information such as customer data and financial records. For example, National Cybersecurity Alliance, or NCSA, found that 40% of the cyber attacks target small businesses, and 60% of the small businesses that suffer a cyber attack go out of business within 6 months. Europol states that 50% of the victims are small businesses. Despite this high level of vulnerability, only 14% of micro, small, and medium enterprises are prepared to tackle cyber threats. In my research, I have identified some key factors like economic growth, market access, financial explorations, technology and innovation, regulatory environment, talent and skills, access to global value chains, infrastructure development, informal sector export, diversification, policy support, collaboration and networking, sustainability and social responsibility, access to technology, intellectual property protection, business support ecosystem, and resilience and adaptability in the state of affairs of SMEs in emerging markets. When it comes to cybersecurity for SMEs, I have seen the protection of sensitive data becomes the most sensitive part of the SMEs, safeguarding the customer information, financial records, and intellectual property rights, access of breaches, legal liabilities, damage. Reputation and trust when it comes to maintaining customer trust by demonstrating a commitment to data security, compliance with regulations, supply chain risk, growing threat landscapes, and business continuity, are the main reasons why we should focus on cybersecurity for SMEs. Differentiating from competitors, how we can differentiate by raising awareness and providing training to the employees and customers alike, implementing a cybersecurity framework, utilize emerging technologies like big data, IoT devices, etc., leverage machine learning and artificial intelligence, work with cybersecurity partners, develop a clear strategy, embracing a digital transformation, building a strong brand, fostering the innovation culture, collaboration with other businesses, accessing the financing, developing a skilled workforce, adoption of sustainable practices, leverage the technology amidst SME engagement in the international trade, embracing innovation, build strong culture of entrepreneurship, leverage government support, establish a strong environment, and then focus on customer experience, leverage data analytics, employee training and development, other sustainable practices, build strategic partnership, pursue internationalization, prioritize employee development, focus on customer experience, foster a culture of innovation, develop a strong online presence, invest in employee training and development, build a strong network, prioritize customer services. When it comes to evaluating the effectiveness of service security marketing, I can see that you should define the measurable goals, track the key metrics, use analytical tools, conduct customer service, conduct A/B testing, conduct market research, measure ROI, incorporate customer feedback, use analytical tools, collaborate with internal teams, keep up to date with the industry trends, monitor online reviews and establish clear metrics, test and optimize marketing campaigns, monitor industry trends, track the competition, conduct market research, seek feedback from stakeholders, use customer personas, set goals, and test and optimize, foster culture of data-driven decision-making, and leverage social media. I am happy to present here. I am open to any question that you feel posing the questions to me. I have shared my email ID. Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.
The title of the first paper is Residual Numerical and Experimental Measurement of Residual Stress in Suspension A-arm using Incremental Hole Drilling Method. And the authors are Dr. Jawad Marzmanrad, Shaheen Hassani, myself, Ahmed Khaki, and Murtaza Hassani from the University of Science and Technology. So the contents are as follows: Chapter 1, Introduction; Chapter 2, Specifications and Operation Conditions; Chapter 3, Modeling and Dynamic Analysis; Chapter 4, Test Method Principles; Chapter 5, Results; and Chapter 6, Conclusion. Residual stress is a self-balancing stress that is confined inside a component. It is important for life prediction, structural reliability evaluation, and structure design. There are methods to measure residual stress. Two of more recent methods are hole drilling approach and digital image correlation, or DIC. In this table, the specification of the material and the properties of the A-arm are provided. And you can see values like Young modulus, Poisson coefficient, and etc. And here you can see the 3D CATIA model of the A-arm that is designed to be analyzed. In order to perform the dynamic analysis, some assumptions are made. Vehicle mass is assumed to be 1,500 kilograms. Bumper is circular with a diameter of 30 millimeters. The force applied to the bumper is assumed to be 0.5 of the vehicle weight. The region under pressure is assumed to be a square with the side of 2 millimeter. External diameter of the tire is assumed to be 20 inches, and the rotational speed of the tire is assumed to be 8.5 round per second. So the phase time function is assumed to be a sinusoidal function which reaches the maximum amount and comes back to 0 in the time travel of the theier, the contact time of the theier, which is 0.01798 seconds. And the positional distribution of force is assumed to be of Gaussian distribution, which is also called the natural distribution. And since the majority of natural phenomena follows the same distribution pattern, it is not an inaccurate assumption. So the simulation is done via ANSYS software package. It is transient and it depends on time and position. And when meshing contact region and screw holes, finer elements are used for more accuracy of the results. So the maximum applied pressure happens in the middle of the contact region at the time of 0.01798 seconds, and it is equal to 16.8 megapascals. And 18 time steps are defined for the analysis. You can see the 18 time steps with the corresponding times in this table. Stress distribution in y direction can be seen. As you can see, the yield stress distribution, the left-hand side figure shows that the highest values of stress happens in the middle region. So there are traditional methods to measure the residual stress, but the problem is that they are not possible to use for most of the material because it requires an opaque appearance. But the whole Dirling strain gauge method, but using strength sensor is not dependent on the production process or appearance, and it can measure, release the strain and convert it to the residual stress. There are 6 stages for this method: installing 3-element strain gauge, connecting wire networks to a strain indicator section, installing accurate drilling guide bush at the center of the strain gauge, make small holes, reading relaxed strain, and obtaining maximum stress and its angle using available relation. It is standardized in the ASTM E837 standard. It is easy to use and it's usable with different shapes and dimensions. And since it makes small holes, it is considered a half destruction method. Drilling the specimen releases the inside residual stress and changes in the stress around the drill zone, which can cause the strain, which is measured. And to determine the collaboration coefficient, since the hole that is drilled in the component is a dead-ended hole, it makes it a complex. And mathematically, an accurate mathematical equation are not available, so we can extend the result for complete holes using experimental and FEM methods. The experimental test is a 4-point bending of a flat sheet, and fundamental equations of residual stress are obtained. And to validate the calibration coefficients for thick components is used. We have no data available for curved surfaces, but since the curvature is not severe, we can use it with acceptable error. FEM method is used to validate the 4-point bending test for accuracy evaluation, and 2 separate simulations for AN and BN coefficients are used. And for determining AN by axial tension and for determining the BN, the pure shear is modeled. So we can see the AN and BN coefficient in this. I was saying, in order to prepare the test specimen, electrical polishing is done to smoothen and clean the surface, and rosette installation points are selected based on the finite element analysis. The rosette arrangement can be seen in this figure using 3 strain gauges. The drilling process is done in 7 steps using a CNC device, and a data logger is connected to the test setup to the data, to accumulate the data. There are equations that can convert the strain to stress. And rosette 1 and 2 have the same loading, and negative values are critical because it is under tension. In this figure, you can see the residual stress, radial and hoop stress for rosette 1 and 2. Rosette 3, 5, and 6 have the same loading and are both negative. Their stresses are both negative, which can be a failure area. As you can see, all values are negative. Rosette 4, in rosette residual, radial and hoop stresses are both, makes it also a critical area. And in this figure, you can see the radial and hoop stress. So different points have different conditions for stress distribution. Critical areas during travel are usually punching areas, forming areas, and bushing areas. There are possible solutions suggested to decrease the residual stress, like improving the production process or using the correct assembly. Thank you for your time and attention. I will, without further ado, I will go to the second presentation.
Yes, please.
It's okay. So the title of the second paper is Reducing Vehicle Interior Noise Caused by Floor Panels, and the authors are Jawad Marzwanrad, Dr. Jawad Marzwanrad, me, Shaheen Hassani, Mushtaba Agha Mirzaei, and Farzaneh Khalaqian, University of Science and Technology. Introduction, model, results and discussion, and conclusion. So the absorption and damping materials are used to control noise and vibration. And there are, if we use FE analysis to determine the location of damping materials, it can reduce the time and cost. And excessive interior noise can have effect on ride comfort and NVH performance of the vehicle. And we can categorize the interior noise in terms of frequency into three categories: the high frequency airborne noise over 500 Hertz. It can cause by vehicle systems and aerodynamic disturbances that are transferred through the cabin. And mid and low frequency structural noise, which are below 500 Hertz, and it can cause by mechanical inputs like engine and powertrains that are transmitted to the body frame. In order to minimize high frequency airborne noise, we can use sound insulation and absorption material. And in order to reduce mid-frequency noise, we can filter the mechanical inputs, for example, use engine mounts, or use passive damping system, which can dissipate vibratory energy through the shearing deformation. Active noise control is an emerging and more recent method, and it is viable and efficient in controlling the low frequency noise. And it works based on the superposition of waves in an inverse phase. So active noise controls can be categorized into two categories: active sound control and active vibration control. In order to model the damping treatment, two methods can be used: the simple math method and the explicit modeling method. The simple math method is the most conventional approach, and it requires almost no additional modeling. Just the mass of the treatment material is added to the component, and its viscoelastic nature is largely ignored, which means that it doesn't account for potential effects like changes in damping and stiffness. The explicit modeling method, on the other hand, accounts for these potential effects and in turn complicates the modeling process. The current approach uses Nastran software, which was developed by NASA and is very useful in complex dynamic fluid problems. And viscoelastic layer is modeled as a solid, but associated material properties are properly introduced into the software package. So the modeling is based on the Samand vehicle, body in white, a production of Iran Khodro Company, IKCO. The viscoelastic layer is modeled by 8-node solid elements and isotropic material properties. The panels are modeled by shell elements. The damping pads are modeled by solid elements, and engine mounts and vehicle suspensions are modeled using spring elements. Unit force is assumed to be applied over the range of 0 to 500 hertz. The material properties that are assumed, the ambient temperature is assumed to be 20 degrees Celsius, and a frequency-dependent scalar shear modulus is introduced using this equation, in which GF is the shear modulus, G prime F is the shear storage modulus, and G second F is shear loss modulus. And the shear loss factor is defined as the ratio of G second to G prime. In this figure, we can see the shear modulus in terms of frequency, and as you can see, it is directly proportional. In this figure, we can see the loss factor in terms of frequency, and at first it increases rapidly with increasing the frequency. Then the slope of the line is decreased, and the last part seems more or less horizontal, which can mean that it remains constant for the last part. The analysis is based on the direct frequency response solution. 200 modes are introduced with the frequency ranging between 0 and 500 hertz. In the first step, the FE model without the damping pads, and 21 points with the highest vibration are introduced. At the second step, the FE model is modeled with the viscoelastic damping pads, and critical points are the location of placing the damping pads that are calculated in the first step. This figure can show the location of 21 damping pads and damping points. 3 of these points, named location 1, location A, B, and C, are chosen to analyze and investigate the effect of the damping material. So in this figure, we can see the velocity in terms of frequency at the point A. The solid red line is with pad, and dashed line is without pad. As you can see, installing damping pads hugely decreases the velocity at that point. And this figure shows the sound pressure level in decibels in terms of frequency with pad and without pad, and the same trend applies. This is the point B, velocity in terms of frequency at point B, and as you can see, the same trend also applies, which means installing damping pads can hugely decline and reduce the velocity. And sound pressure level in terms of frequency, 2 modes with pad, without pad, and you can see that the drastic decrease. Velocity in terms of frequency at point C is shown in this figure for both with pad and without pad modes. And this figure is the sound pressure level in terms of in decibels in terms of frequency for 2 modes with pad or without pad. But as you can see, installing damping pads was not as effective as it was for point A and B, because we are experiencing higher levels of sound pressure level in different frequencies, even with the damping pads. So to conclude our study, initially 21 critical points were chosen, and after analysis, these points reduced to 12 chosen points, which emphasizes the points that are discussed in the beginning of the presentation, that if we use FEM analysis to choose the place of installing damping pads, we can actually decrease the cost and time. So we chosen 12 points to perform the most effective damping. You can see the 12 points that are chosen at the end after the FEM analysis for installing damping pads. And we thank you for your attention and your interest. So I will go to the last and third presentation.
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the title of the third paper is Automative Deceleration Rate Changes According to Axle's Braking Force Distribution. The authors are Dr. Jawad Marzmonrad, myself, Shaheen Hassani, and Hadi Ruzegir. So we have different chapters. Chapter 1 is Introduction. Chapter 2 is Braking Characteristics of Two-Axle Vehicle. Chapter 3, Braking Characteristics of a Passenger Car. And Chapter 4 is the conclusion. So the primary function of the brakes is to decelerate and stop the vehicle. And it should be done in the shortest possible stopping distance. The braking force originates from the braking system and spreads over the tire road contact surface. The maximum braking capacity can be achieved when all of the wheels are simultaneously being on the verge of locking. In that case, maximum braking force is achieved. So the distribution of braking force rely on the variety of factors, some of which are vehicle design parameters, vehicle loading, and contact surface condition or road conditions. So wheels locking is an undesirable phenomenon. It can cause the loss of vehicle steering control and loss of directional stability. And wheel slip can be a challenging problem as well because of the complex behavior of the tire and non-linear process of braking. It can affect the performance of anti-lock brakes like ABS brakes. It can increase the stopping distance, and it can negatively affect the directional stability. In the present study, we will investigate and manipulate the design parameters to investigate and study the effect that they can have on the braking performance. So car design parameters that affect braking, some of them are height of the center of the mass, distance between the two axles, car loading, including the passengers, trunk, or a full or empty fuel tank, and conditions of the contact surface or the road. This is the schematic picture, a 2D picture that shows the external load in longitudinal motion. So the braking force, as long as it is less than the tire road adhesion limit, can be calculated using this formula, in which TB is the braking torque, I is the rotational inertia of the wheel, alpha is the angular deceleration, and R is the wheel's rolling radius. There are other forces that can influence the vehicle movement, like aerodynamic resistance, rolling resistance, slope resistance, or power transmission systems resistance. And there are assumptions for simplicity and in order to simplify the problem. For example, the power transmission system resistance is disregarded. The aerodynamic resistance force is disregarded. And road is assumed to be smooth and straight and have a constant rolling resistance force. So the distribution of braking forces for the front axle can be calculated using this formula, in which KBF is the ratio of the force for the front axle, W total vehicle weight, A is the vehicle deceleration, and FR is the tire's rolling resistance coefficient, G is the gravitational acceleration. For the rear axle, we have this equation, as you can see. So when wheel locking happens, this equation is true, in which mu is the road adhesion coefficient and WF is the front axle load. And the ratio of A to G for the front axle can be calculated using this formula, in which the L1 and L2 are distances from the front and rear axles to the car center of mass. H is the height of the car center of mass above the ground, and L is the distance between the axles. FR is the rolling resistance coefficient. And A to G for the rear axle can be calculated using this formula. So if front tires lock first, this inequality is true. A to G for R is bigger than A to G for F. If the rear tires lock first, this inequality is true. And if both tires on the verge of locking, which is a desirable situation, this equation should be true. So we can calculate an optimum amount of KBF, KBF star, like this, according to this equation. And it depends on the vehicle design parameters like H and L, vehicle loading, L2, and contact surface or road through mu and FR. So the braking characteristics of a passenger car is studied. You can see the characteristics in the table, and mu is defined and H to L is defined. This figure shows the AG in terms of percentage of KBF. The dashed line is for front axle, and the dashed line is for the front axle, and the solid line is for the rear axle. And the intersection point of this figure is when both wheels are on the verge of locking. So, and this figure shows the AG in terms of percentage of KBF for the loaded and unloaded modes. And the intersection point is when in both loaded and unloaded modes, all wheels are simultaneously on the verge of braking. So if we want to calculate the optimum amount for KBF, we can use this equation here, and the KBF optimum is calculated like this, in which L'1 and L'2 are distances between the front and rear axles and the center of the mass in the loaded mode. So in here we can see the KBF optimum in terms of L2 prime for the optimum state and for the loaded state. Loaded state is the dashed line. So in order to analyze the Saman vehicle made by IKCO, it has the same loading as the passenger car, and this, the difference is center of the mass is moved to the rear by 8.5 centimeters. And in here you can see the AG in terms of KBF for loaded and unloaded states. And in Saman vehicle, the maximum values of KBF are larger. So to study the effect of loading, a light truck is analyzed with the characteristics described below in the table. And this figure shows the AG in terms of KBF for loaded and unloaded states. And if you compare the light truck and the passenger car, you can see that the characteristics are compared in the table, and the greater differences happens in the light truck between loaded and unloaded mode. So in order to study the effect of road adhesion coefficient, we use the passenger car previously described, and we define two states, base states, mu1 0.8.5 and the new state 0.65. And you can see here the AG in terms of KBF for two values, mu1 and mu2 for loaded and unloaded conditions. And you can see here the KBF optimum amount of KBF in terms of mu And you can see that KBF is directly proportional to mu. And in order to study the effect of rolling resistance coefficient, we use, again, the passenger car previously described. The base states FR1 is assumed to be 0.002, and the new states FR2 is assumed to be 0.02. And you can see the values of KBF, AG in terms of KBF for two values of FR, rolling resistance for loaded and unloaded conditions. And as you can see, the FR follows the same trend as mu, which means that when it increases, the KBF increases, but the increase in ratio of A to G is very negligible, considering that FR is increased tenfold. So to conclude, the coefficient of road adhesion and coefficient and road rolling resistance impact the maximum value of deceleration, and loading conditions and characteristics of the vehicle has no impact on the maximum value of deceleration, but they rather impact the KBF, the ratio of the force associated with the maximum value of deceleration. In practical situations, however, greater variations in operational conditions can happen that can negatively impact the maximum decelerations. There are suggestions like pressure, proportional values, valves that can improve the braking efficiency and adjust the brake force based on the load distribution. Thank you for your time and attention. I'm done. Thank you.
My presentation is about the simulation learning algorithm applied to the YOLO V4 license plate image recognition in rainfall scenes. Okay, this study is focused on, let me see. Got stuck here. Okay. It's focused on the influence of the rainfall on license plate image recognition. So what we try to do is use the data set, the learning data set from the original image, and add some mathematical function to create rainfall scene license plate image. So we don't have to take more pictures just from the original data set, image data set, to create some virtual image to learn. So we hope this kind of learning is not to increase the image data sets, but just use some mathematical way to increase the learning ability. Okay, the license plate image data set, what we trying to use the training data set is divided into 4 training data sets. The first one, of course, is the original license plate image data set. The second one is the image data set from the original license plate image, just interfered with the simulated rainfall factors. So the second data set is learning data set is all interfered with the raining factors. So the third state is the combined image data set include the original license plate image data set, but just reduce the number, and plus some image created from the simulated rainfall factors. So the combined image data set, the size will be the same as the first one and the second one. The fourth data set is the original image data set plus the image data set from the simulated rainfall factors. So that the fourth state will increase the learning data set size compared to the third one. So these 4 data sets image marked by the label image and trained through the YOLO V4 network model. This is the proposed system process. So the license plate image set prepared, then for the first step, for the first condition, we just label the images, then do the training and do the recognition. The second try is from the original image data set, add simulated rainfall function, some simple function to simulate the rainfall conditions. Then we do the same thing, label the image, then do the YOLO V4 training, then do the recognition. The third condition is from original data set and add some simulation rainfall function from just the second trial. And the stage 3 and 4 are all the same, but the difference is the training image size are different. So then we go through the YOLO V4 image dataset training model and recognize. So the dataset, the original one is from the application-oriented license plate dataset from National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. There are 3 things from the parking lot entrance and access, we call it the AC. And the traffic law enforcement, we call it LE, and the road patrol images. Of course, the license plate, the picture taken from the license plate has some parameters should be noticed, some distance to some tilt angles and the pan angles and the projection original. So there's some parameter will affect we to recognize the plate. So something like that, that's from the access control, that's just from the parking lot. So you can see, it's more easier to recognize the license plate from the parking lot. It's just the difference, just the outdoor, indoor, and daytime and night. So that's the image sharpness are different. And the traffic law enforcement is the traffic violation captured by a fixed camera on the roadside. So for the data set, for the the data set from the AOLP include 681 pictures from the parking lot and 757 pictures from the traffic law enforcement. And there are 611 pictures from the road patrols. The road patrols means that's the license plate, the violation license plate taken by a handheld camera by the police vehicle. Okay, so the image, all the images will be labeled by the label IMG tool. So we have original, we have the 700 license plate pictures selected from the AIOP data set and 150 self-shot license plate. We make the 850 pictures to do the training. So the running condition simulation, the simple mathematical function is used the one shown on screen. So we use the OpenCV in Python applied to simulate the rainfall environment by randomly generating salt and pepper noise first. Then we perform Gaussian filtering on the noise. So the Gaussian filtering matrix is just like the Gaussian blur 3x3 kernel as shown on the screen. So you can see that the raindrop image generated by the salt and pepper noise and the Gaussian filter looks like the top one. And the blur simulation for the rainfall in motion will be on the bottom. So it's not the real rainy thing. It's the some noise or some things which just create from the mathematical function, then we will try to add up this to our pictures. So we don't have to take new pictures, just use the original picture with some simulated virtual running condition. So the simulated raindrop image generated from the simple mathematical way, you can see that for the drizzle one, you can see that the picture is on the left, and the heavy rain is something like on the right. So that's the data augmentation. Just that's what we thought. We do not try to increase the image data set for the training, but we try to increase our training size by simple way, just add some noise or some environmental conditions to our images. So for deep learning models, the amount of training data increase is able to improve the accuracy of the testing data. So at this study, we have introduced the image data enhancement function to add the simulated rainfall situation to the original data set through the proposed method of the license plate image data set. Okay, so now we have the 4 data sets simulation. So the stage 1, the first condition, just the original image, is 850. That includes just I say 700 from the data set, 150 from the self-shot images. The stage 2 is from the stage 1, just interfere with the mathematical equations to create the running condition images. The stage 3 is we choose 6 license plate images from the stage 1 and the 250s from stage 2 to create the same size for the training image. The stage 4 is we use the stage 1, the total image set from stage 1 and 400 from the stage 2 to increase the training images. So we are expecting that the stage 4 will have the best simulation result. Okay, so we have the table to say that we have the stage 1 is the original license plate image is 850. Stage 2 has the image interfered for the rainfall equations. So from the original license plate image, so that's the 852. Stage 3 has 600 from the original one, 250 from the interfered created images. Stage 4 has the total 850 from the original one, and the 400 from the image interfered with the rainfall conditions. So the stage 4 we have the 12,050 training images, and the number of training and the validation set is about 8 to 2. The ratio is 8 to 2. So it's the training image is 680 and the validation image is 170. So that makes the total numbers 850. Okay, so this slide just showed what I said. The stage 3 and 4 is just the size different, the training size different. So the stage 4 is the novel method proposed in this study. So it's supposed to show the best simulation result. Okay, so the training result in the YOLO V4, we applied YOLO V4 objective detection system for data training. The size of the input image is set to 416 times 416 in this study. So the mean average precision output of the training result, we can see from stage 1. Of course, we learned from the original image. It shows the mean average precision is 97.39%. And the stage 2 is the image interfere with the simple mathematical function, but the mean average precision is 95.41%. It's about 2% less than the original image. And the state 3 shows the better way, the best 98.48. And state 4 shows the almost the same with the state 1. Okay, so the based on the YOLO V4 training outcomes, we take another 50 self-shooting license plate image for recognition. So this is not from the data set, it's from the new created license plate we just take from the raw. The 50 test image also, we add some, add the raining condition information function on it to create drizzle, heavy rain, and storm rain conditions. So max total 200 in total. So that's the original image take from raw, and that's the interfere with the function to make it a drizzle condition. And the third one is the heavy rain, and the fourth is the storm shower condition. Okay, so the experiment result for the license plate detection, we can see that the recognition rate is the corrected recognition sample divided by the total recognition samples. So for the license plate detection result, we can see for the original image, for the state 1, is the we training from the original images. We can see for original image test is no problem. But for the raining conditions, you can see the training from the training set from state 1, we can see in the raining conditions, we have problem with the recognition. And for the state 2, state 3, and state 4, we have, for the raining conditions, it's almost perfect. Of course, since the raining condition is taken from our assumed mathematical function, so it seems for the recognition, it has no problem to use the simple raining condition functions. Okay, for the character recognition, the number of the English characters found on the license plate, we can see from state 1, the training set from state 1, of course, we have a very bad situation. 84% for the original image, drizzle, heavy, and storm, rain, we have decreased very deep. And for the state 2 and state 3 and state 4, the character recognition seems keep in some acceptable ratio. It's for the state 3 and state 4, the combined original one and the rainy condition images learning, we have all 80%, above 80% recognition correction. So the state 2 is just learning from the rainy condition images we have, not too bad. It's about all situation is 75.5% accuracy. So we will show some images for our simulation results. This one is the license plate image and the character recognition at daytime. So there's no problem. It's 100% located the license plate image, and the characters has no problem to be 100% recognized. And at the nighttime, so we have the license plate number. Since the YOLO V4 deep learning training is pretty good, so we can allocate the license plate position, and even the characters has no problem to recognize. So for the drizzle rains, sometimes we have a little bit problem to recognize the English letters, and there's no problem for the numbers. And for the heavy rain, it seems almost the same as the drizzle. And the storm shower, of course, this image shows because it's just in front of us, so there's no problem. But if we have some tiered angle will have it may make some problems. This one is taken from the real rainy days, so there's no problem go through our recognition system. I will show some errors like this one. There's some errors happen in our recognition system because there's a new type of license plate where the number 3 and number 5, it looks a little bit the same. So our system has some trouble to recognize it. And this one is the license plate is taken from the angle tiered too much. So we have some problem to recognize. So we can only, there's a 7 characters on the plate. We can only recognize 4 of them. So I would make my conclusions. The YOLO V4 object detection system is applied for license plate and character recognition in this study. A rainfall simulation function is to augment the image data training set is proposed to increase the ability of the license plate recognition system while affect with rainfall situation. So the simulation results show that the state for associated with the most data enhancement training set retains the best recognition rate under various rainfall conditions, and the data augmented method proposed is effectively improve and the recognition ability of license plate and the characters in the rainfall situation. So what we suggest is not just for the rainfall situation, it's if some other environmental condition can be used a simple mathematical way to create some augmented situation, I think we can use this kind of method to increase our recognition rate. Okay, that's my presentation. So thank you for your listening. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
From Paris, ladies and gentlemen, my name is theiier. I am a senior student from Furen University, Taiwan, and my professor is Huang Yaohui. Our research subject is about the decision support system for dengue fever warning and prediction. These are the outline of my presentation. I will start from research motivation. Dengue fever is an infectious disease that spreads with Aedes mosquitoes. So far, there's still no safe vaccine for public existence. The epidemic of dengue fever often prevails among the tropical and subtropical zone, in which Taiwan is no exception. Also, because of global warming, climate change, and time-space convergence, the spread of dengue fever has become faster, making the situation more serious. If we can properly control the number of Aedes mosquitoes and predict its probability of occurrence, it may be great to help prevent the outbreak of dengue fever. However, to achieve this goal, there could be huge consumption of money as well as manpower. So with the premise of limited resources, it is also important to prevent the epidemic in an effective way. In view of this, in this study, we aim to develop a dengue fever warning and prediction system, hoping to offer another decision support for those related healthy units and make contributions to the society. Next is introduction of our system function. Here is a simple system architecture in this study. As dengue fever is a viral infection transmitted via the vector mosquitoes, so we think it is important to control the number of them. So our decision support system includes the smart mosquito trapping lamp device with specific modules and the function of data analyze, while using some techniques to different vector mosquitoes. Once the purpose system finds that the increase of the number exceeds the threshold value within the setting time interval, the system may automatically notify the relevant government units to carry out cleaning and disinfection of the area to combat them. Second, according to what I said before about our resources are not always continuous, and so do our smart devices. As a result, In this study, we also utilize a decision model to effectively allocate smart mosquito trap devices in relevant areas. Next, referring to the past literature, the methodological information is related to the breeding of dengue vector mosquitoes. Therefore, this study analyzes the dengue fever confirmed dataset containing the provided by open dataset online containing the 11 districts in Kaohsiung City in Taiwan from 2015 to 2019 in order to find important factors and rules for epidemic prevention by using decision-making methods, such as decision tree method, which aims to explore another way to prevent the spread. In brief, these functions from our purpose system, which can become another decision-making assistance. Next, I will explain our research methods and techniques we use in every function. First of all, one of the goals in this study is to develop a smart mosquito catching device composed of a mosquito trap, a camera set with a programmable timer, weather monitoring sensors, and INT components. The purpose smart mosquito catching device is illustrated in this slide. The device will send the image to the host by using a trained RC model to automatically identify Aedes and collects for the image on the host. It aims to notice that the number of Aedes increase abnormally. Here is a photo of device and the example of the image recognition. Next, in this function, the users input the number of mosquito traps they have, then select the locations that users want to take into account, which are the places we have found there once happened dengue fever before that. Then the server will catch the information of their distances to generate a matrix and calculate it by MILP model, which has been handled by weighted sum method first. In a web page, the user can get the results of how to put the smart devices so that they can get the best and the most effective data collection, also can check on the map. The following are the tools used in this stage, especially the mathematical decision model, operations research, and managerial mathematics, mixed integer linear programming model, GROBY, for the best allocation of mosquito traps. To continue in this stage, we take mixed integer linear programming model to solve the problem of resources allocation. The objective function of model is puts the number of devices P and N places into P group, calculates the main one, and puts the smart devices on it for only considering the shortest distance. While the constraint conditions are, first, the sum of mosquito traps for allocating is equal to the amount of mosquito trap user has. Second, the smart devices in place J can catch the mosquitoes in, the smart devices in place I can catch the mosquito in place J, which means we only consider the distance between the locations of putting the mosquito trap and the other nearly. And last, each place is assigned to a mosquito trap. In the experimental stage, we will use GROBY, into the other words, MILP solver, to get the answer to get the best locations of smart devices. In the stage of decision model analysis, we used machine learning techniques according to the literature showing the relationship between methodology and dengue confirmed cases. Take the decision tree methods, for example, to find the important attributes and rules such as temperature and rainfall. The users can check the processing judgment inputs, the statistics they have, and then get the results of the prediction of probability of outbreak on the web. Before doing the analysis, we have to pre-process our data. First, we download the dengue confirmed cases and meteorological data respectively from CDC from Taiwan and CWB Taiwan from 2015 to 2019. Then we put this data into our dengue dataset and try to find the most important factor and role for epidemic prevention. Lastly, the results can be visualized in the system. Since there were several outbreaks in Taiwan during these years, and the situation in Kaohsiung City is one of the most severe ones. So we choose 11 districts in Kaohsiung City as the subject of our project. In this stage, we use machine learning such as decision tree, SVM, and logistic regression line. So to sum up, by doing this research, we aim to reduce the labor cost and control the epidemic. Moreover, we will work on it continuously to optimize our system and expand the related applied field. So thank you for your attention.
Good evening from Melbourne, everyone. My name is Chatia Drepunsuk from Department of Chemical Technology, Chulalongkorn University and CSIR Energy Business Unit. Today, I would like to talk about internally circulating fluid diabet reactor for carbon dioxide capture. Climate change refers to long-term shift in temperature and weather pattern mainly from human activities. To address this urgent issue, the Paris Agreement aims to limit global temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level. Additionally, there is a toward achieving net zero emission by 2050. The main source of carbon dioxide emission comes from various processes. Energy production is a major source of carbon dioxide emissions, mostly from the burning of fossil fuel for electric generations. Carbon dioxide capture technology is a process designed to capture carbon dioxide emission from large-scale industry. This technology can be classified into 3 groups, comprising pre-combustion, oxy-fuel combustion, and post-combustion technologies. A variety of post-combustion carbon dioxide separation technologies are commercially available. Dry solid adsorption becomes an attractive alternative for carbon dioxide capture due to its low energy consumption, potential for regeneration, resistance to equipment corrosions, and low environmental footprints. The circulating fluid diabet reactor or CFB reactor is commonly used for gas and solid particle multi-phase flow system. It has several applications for process industry to energy generations, mostly in chemical looping operations and sorption-enhanced gasifications. The CFB reactor offers several advantage properties, including a high contacting area between gas and solid particle, well-distributed solid and efficient heat and mass transfer rate and ability to operate continuously. However, the design and operation of CFB reactor can be complex, requiring additional specific equipment and occupying a large footprints. This can result in high capital and operating costs. Several alternative reactor configurations have been proposed to simplify the design and operation of reactor. One such configuration is the internal circulating fluid diabet reactor or ICFB reactor, which incorporates many of the operational capability of the CFB reactor while eliminating complex separation system. The ICFB reactor consists of a single reactor column divided into several sections, typically referred as a riser and the downer. These sections are connected by port, which run at the top and another at the bottom. The cyclones are replaced by a freeboard, resulting in a compact design with low construction costs and reduced heat loss while retaining in benefit and functionality of CFB reactor. However, ICFB has gas leakage between the 2 reactor sections and particle attrition. ICFB have been widely used for various processes such as coal combustions, coal gasifications, solid waste incinerations, desulfurization, and catalytic reaction in petroleum refinery. Previous research has commonly used a conventional design. However, this design may not be suitable for carbon dioxide capture. In this work, I am interested in the two reactor geometry design. Design A has ratio 1:2 and design B has ratio 2:1. Therefore, this study aims to develop a computational fluid dynamics model for carbon dioxide capture using an ICFB reactor compared to the front reactor geometry design with a ratio of 1:2 and 2:1 for the riser and downer section in ICFB reactor, and investigate the performance of carbon dioxide capture based on potassium carbonate supported on gamma alumina adsorbent. The reactor geometry involved two different designs with a ratio between riser and downer. Table 1, you can see the initial and boundary condition. The simulation parameters are listed in Table 2. The numerical simulation in this study employed Alien multiphase 4 and KTGF incorporating Tida's bound drag model. This slide presents a set of governing equations that were numerically solved for the hot flow simulation. This study focused on adsorption and regeneration reactions. Rate of forward and backward reaction were utilized to address the kinetic model of carbon dioxide absorption in ICFB reactors. Figure 2 shows snapshot contour plot of solid volume fraction in the different reactor geometry design. In the design 1:2 ratio, the solid volume fraction was dense and homogeneous along the height of riser, and the ratio of 2:1, the solid volume fraction was lower in the riser. The average potassium carbonate and potassium bicarbonate mass fraction profile along the height for a ratio between riser and downer width of 1:2 are shown in Figure 3A and Figure 3B respectively. The mass fraction of potassium carbonate was constant at 0.17 to 0.25 throughout both of sections, while the mass fraction of potassium bicarbonate gradually increased from the bottom to the top in the downer. As you can see from the contour plot, indicate that all potassium bicarbonate was converted back to potassium carbonate through the reverse reactions. Figure 5A and Figure 5B show the average mass fraction of substance and product with a ratio 2:1. This graph shows the similar variation trend with a ratio of 1:2, but they are significant different in a numerical value. The mass fraction of potassium carbonate was less than the ratio 1:2, around 0.1 to 0.35. The substance mass fraction slowly increased with the rising height of riser, while the downer has a greater steady-state distribution along the height. As seen, contour of a substance and product mass fraction with a ratio 2:1, potassium carbonate react with a carbon dioxide and change to bicarbonate and then to return to a riser. This slide shows the inlet and outlet mass flow rate of carbon dioxide in ICFB reactor for different ratio between riser and downer. For a ratio 2:1, the mass flow rate of carbon dioxide at inlet is 0.84 gram per second, while the outlet is 0.25 gram per second. And the ratio 2:1, the mass flow rate carbon dioxide at inlet is 1.46 gram per second, while the outlet is 0.55 gram per second. The percent removal of carbon dioxide with a ratio of 1:2 was 70.2%, and the percent removal of carbon dioxide with a ratio 2:1 was 60.3%. So to summarize the main point of my talk, the ratio of 1:2 exhibits a higher mass fraction of potassium carbonate and potassium bicarbonate compared to a ratio of 2:1, and the solid distribution remained homogeneous throughout the height. The narrower width of the riser contributes to an increased density of solid sorbent, resulting in improved gas contact. The carbon dioxide capture performance with the design of ratio 1:2 was 70.2%, while the percent removal of carbon dioxide with ratio of 2:1 was 62.3%. The ratio of 1 to 2 is recommended for application of carbon dioxide capture process. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Any question and suggestion are welcome.
Everyone, I'm Sadur Senzada from Azerbaijan. Currently, I am a PhD candidate at the University of Łódź, and I am a member of the Doctoral School of Social Sciences at the University of Łódź. So today I'm going to present the power of sales promotion, analyzing the impact of sales promotion of consumer buying behavior in the pandemic. Here's my keywords. Sales promotion, consumer buying behavior, and pandemic. And before starting my presentation, I would like to say that it's exploratory research, and I'm planning to develop that research in future. Here is the agenda. During the presentation, I will try to cover all this agenda: introduction, research problem, research aim, questions, methods, data collection and analysis, limitation, findings and conclusion, theoretical contribution, and bibliography. Okay. The research aimed to overall that research is aimed to analyze and investigate the impact of sales promotion, consumer buying behavior during the COVID-19 pandemic and its effect for future. The post-pandemic period, how continuously that effect shows its signs. The study analyzed the consumer reaction to various promotional types, such bonuses, coupons, buy one, get one free, free samples, price discounts, loyalty cards, etc. And the aim was to investigate if this promotion positively influenced consumer purchasing behavior during the impulse buying, especially in the pandemic period. Here is my research problems. Following research problems planning to answer. Sudden change on consumers' buying behavior during the purchasing process in the pandemic. It was one of the problem of my research because of the pandemic. As we know, a lot of consumers affected by pandemic, and that sudden change make a problematic problem. And managerial concern of retailers to minimize negative effect of the pandemic by using sales promotion. That's another problem because they didn't know that how they use effective promotional strategy. Lack of adaptation of retailers regarding the changes of consumer buying behavior in the pandemic. Using conventional marketing approach to avoid negative effect of crisis is another research problem because conventional methods wasn't that much flexible in that period, and it wasn't positively affect minimizing the negative effect of crisis, and lack of awareness of regarding effective implementation of sales promotion techniques. Here is the research aim. The research aims to explore consumer buying behavior in the pandemic. The study aims to explore consumers' reaction to sales promotion activities in the given period. The study targets to identify influences of the sales promotion based on the specific product categories, because as we know that there are different promotional methods like a discount, loyalty card, coupon, and etc. And based on that, based on the product categories, different product categories, that promotional techniques can be effective, less or more effective, and suggest effective implementation of sales promotion types for each product categories in the pandemic. The study aims to explore evaluation of retailers' sales promotion offers from the perspective of the consumers. I just pointed the two main research questions. The first is that to what extent did sales promotion influence consumers' buying behavior during the pandemic, and to what extent does pandemic change consumer buying habits? Research is, as I mentioned in the introduction stage, that it's exploratory research was conducted with both primary and secondary data. As a primary data, I used the qualitative method, in-depth interview, and as a secondary data, I use reports, some scientific articles. Here's my result of the data collection. During the interview, 15 of respondents participated in the in-depth interview from Poland and Azerbaijan. Age, as you can see, the age range is there between 18 and 41, and there are different gender as well. And based on those results, I just make a table, and based on the results, I analyze their sales promotion interest during the interview. And as I mentioned that based on the product category, all promotional let's say categories can be changed and can be effective or less effective from the perspective of the consumers. So according to in-depth interview results, and I just analyzed that based on the daily products, discounts, buy one and get another one free, and free sampling are most effective techniques from the perspective of the consumers. In the case of the clothing, the discounts and bonuses. In the case of the electronics products, discount and loyalty card is the most effective techniques. In the case of the home appliance, discount and coupons are most effective techniques. But in the case of the medicinal products, the respondents say that they do not prefer to say promotional strategies, that kind of products, because it's kind of sign of low quality. But in the case of the health condition, they do not prefer to promotional techniques in that product category. And based on the all results, I just make a pathway of the consumers from the first exposure of the promotional offerings to purchasing intent. As we see, the pandemic impact the final purchase decision and exposure of the consumers by promotional deals. By exposure, I mean that the time that consumers first time exposed by the promotional techniques, and it positively changed by decision, and that influence also intent to buy more than needs, according to in-depth interview results. At the end, it influenced the final purchase decision from the perspective of the consumers. Overall, in the limitation of the study was the reliability of the sources, because there are tons of papers regarding the sales promotion, but there is no enough paper about how sales promotion impact consumer buying behavior, especially in pandemic and pandemic period. And generally that kind of papers were in the different language, not in English. There are some papers in English, but they are not enough, and there was a translation problem because of that. Data collection process from the respondents was also another limitation, because sometimes they just avoid to answer some kind of sensitive information. And subjective judgment by our interviewers was another limitation. As a findings and the conclusion, based on the secondary and primary data result, it was explored that the sales promotion types positively influenced buying decision of the consumers, but all business and marketers needs to take into consideration that which sales promotion techniques are more effective for different product categories. And also retailers must implement the balanced sales promotion strategy in order to maximize profit and increase the consumer's retention, because overuse of the sales promotional techniques can cause also confused by the consumers, and they can understand that, okay, it's the low quality signs if there are a lot of promotional techniques. And it's also my future plan to analyze it based on the quantitative data surveys. I'm planning to conduct the surveys and analyzing it based on the numbers. And theoretical implication, the result of the study due to its exploration nature can be like a stepping stone for the further studies, the role of the sales promotion activities on consumer behavior. And it can be used for the first step, and after that they can use some quantitative data for analyzing. Here's my bibliography, and thanks for your attention. If you have any question, I'm pleased to answer.
Thank you, sir.